Alisha lived a life of routine. Wake up, go to school, work at the cafe, come home, study, sleep, repeat. It wasn't a bad life, it was just hers.
She had been on her own since she was 16. Her parents died in a car crash. They had no family, so she was left to fend for herself.
She had been lucky to find a room for rent with Mrs. Kim. The older woman was kind. She reminded Alisha of her own mother.
Alisha worked at a small cafe downtown. The money wasn't great, but it was enough to help pay her rent and expenses.
Alisha sighed as she wiped down the counter. It was a slow Tuesday afternoon. She glanced at the clock on the wall. Almost time for her break. She was looking forward to a few minutes of peace. Maybe she could get a head start on her homework. She grabbed her bag from under the counter. The bell above the door chimed. Alisha looked up. A man stood in the doorway. He was tall and imposing. He had dark hair and piercing blue eyes. Alisha felt a shiver run down her spine. He was like no one she'd ever seen before. Caden surveyed the cafe. It was quaint. He hadn't been planning on stopping today, but his driver needed to refuel. His gaze landed on the girl behind the counter. She was young, maybe 18 or 19. She had big brown eyes and a sweet smile. He found himself walking towards her. He wasn't sure why. He wasn't usually interested in girls like her. They were too innocent, too naive. But there was something about her that intrigued him.
"Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was soft and melodious.
Coffee. Black, he said. His voice was deep and gravelly.
She nodded and turned to prepare his drink. He watched her movements. She moved with a grace that surprised him. She was lost in her own world. He wondered what she was thinking. He wanted to know everything about her. Sleep had become Alisha's only escape. Every night she dreamt of a boy. His name was Jisoo. He was everything Caden was not. Jisoo was ethereal. He had silver hair and eyes like amethysts. He was kind and gentle. He made her laugh. They met in a field of sunflowers. Jisoo would hold her hand and tell her stories of faraway lands. They would fly through the night sky on the back of a dragon. He promised her forever. He promised her eternity.
Alisha woke up with a gasp. Her heart was racing. She could still feel Jisoo's touch on her skin. She could still smell the sunflowers in his hair. She wished she could stay in the dream world forever. It was so much more beautiful than her reality.
The real world held nothing for her, not anymore. The cafe was bustling, but Alisha felt a million miles away. Her body ached. She was exhausted. She hadn't been sleeping well. Her dreams of Jisoo were consuming her. She couldn't focus on anything else.
Alisha, are you okay?
Mrs. Kim's voice startled her. Alisha hadn't even realized that she had slumped against the counter.
"I'm fine."
Alisha lied. She wasn't fine. She was anything but fine. She was fading. Jisoo's pull on her was growing stronger. She could feel herself being drawn to him, to his world. But what about Caden? What about the life that was just beginning to form around him? Alisha stood at the crossroads of her heart, torn between two worlds. Her mind drifted to Jisoo, the ethereal boy from her dreams, promising eternal love. But then there was Caden, the powerful and mysterious man whose life was beginning to intertwine with hers.
"I don't know what to do."
Alisha, you don't have to face this alone. I'm here for you.
The weight of the decision pressed down on her. She knew she had to choose, but the path was shrouded in uncertainty and fear.
Alisha, my love, come to me. Our destiny awaits.
Alisha's heart raced. The pull from Jisoo's world was strong, but so was the connection she felt with Caden. She had a choice to make, and it would change everything.